A lot of first-time entrepreneurs, they don't even know who they need to get their business growing. Like, what are the roles that I would have? They're not doing the fundamentals because they just don't know. This will help you in that. Forget about AI or tech novice, but even as a novice, as a business owner, it will support you in creating the things that you need to create to get your business off the ground. It can help you to create the documents that you need to pitch yourself, to get funding, or even just to sell a product, to put together a sales plan. I used to be the chief sales officer for National Association of Sales Professionals. Well, do you know how long it took to put together sales plans for people, for the annual sales plan or the marketing budget?
Hey everybody, Darby here with GenAIUniversity.com. Today I'm joined by Brooke Dukes. She is a communications expert, best-selling author, transformational business consultant who has been leveraging AI tools not only for her business but her clients. Brooke and I connected recently on LinkedIn. She shared a little bit about what she's building. So Brooke, I'd love to hear a little bit about your background, if you don't mind, for those that this is their first time meeting you. The stage is yours to share how you're using AI to scale your business.
Perfect. So my background, I have over 24 years experience in business consulting. My background is psychology, behavioral science, neurolinguistic programming, human design, which we marry into our consulting services. This is the fourth business that I've built and the only business that AI was involved. So it's been a game changer for us. And so I've been able to see the progression, like how quickly I could build this business versus previous businesses without AI. And so for us, we use what's called the communication code system. And so everything that we do is based on mindset and communication because we believe that success, whether it be personal and professional success, all comes down to mindset, what's between your ears, and communication. You cannot be a good leader. You can't be a good partner. You can't be a good salesperson, any of it without understanding how to communicate. It's having all of our background. I have PhDs on staff who have written white papers for me from previous businesses, and utilizing AI. We can put, especially Cintra in particular. I've used many different AI platforms. Cintra is the one that I believe has really helped us to grow our business even faster. And what we did with it is, one, I learned about it from a woman who she owns a cybersecurity company. And when we were sitting down meeting, she asked me, are you using ChatGPT? Well, yeah, everyone is, right? And I was telling her different things, and she was telling me the problems with using ChatGPT and other open systems is because all of your things are just out there. And I'm like, okay, I get that. And I wasn't willing to give up all the benefits that I was getting by using that for what could possibly happen with that. And so she told me about Sintra AI, and she said, it's closed. So you can put all of your business information, your business models, your white papers, all the science, all your secret sauce into this, and the brain starts learning about you. With Cintra, there's 12 helpers. Essentially, for a small business, is 12 employees. I feel like I have right now in our business, there are four of us. We have someone on IT, we have operations, we have myself, which is a little bit of everything, delivery and the whole bit, and we have marketing. I could grow tenfold and not have to hire another employee because of Cintra. I was able, what took all our PhDs weeks, if not months, to create a really powerful case study. I was able to put in a past case study, put in all of the data. It popped it out in, I would say, because I had to do some tweaks, I had it done within an hour. Now it still doesn't hook up with like a Canva or something like that to create this beautiful though I would say that's a limitation of it. When I've asked it to create documents and things that look good, but they don't look so great. So I don't know that I would, but I was able to take this information and give it to my marketing team and say, okay, take this information and make this a beautiful case study. And we had two within a week. So that was one of the, and I'm really going off. So I'll let you ask me some questions. So make sure that's what your audience is going to be engaged with.
Yeah, I think this is on the right track with where I see a lot of the smaller, leaner businesses leveraging these tools and adopting to the new technology so much faster than a much larger corporation enterprise that has all this red tape to jump through. And you just said using these 12 different employees is giving you that ability to scale without necessarily needing to hire. But you're not using these as to necessarily replace anyone that's on your staff right now, or the leadership on the team that's directing them. But obviously, the information they're being trained on is critical, and that's coming from your years of expertise and making sure they understand your business, but also making sure that you're giving them the right guidelines or working with them to create the right type of content. And of course, there's limitations with anything. A lot of our community uses Gamma. They're one of our sponsors, which is similar to creating presentations within Canva. I see that as a limitation for a lot of different AI tools now, anyways.
Yeah.
And I imagine as AI tools evolve, platforms like Cintra, and I'd love to hear more any sort of like ways that you operate inside of your workflow that you find that make it just work for you. Because the thing that I notice when a lot of these AI platforms pop up, it's cool. Now I can have 7,000 agents on my team. I don't even know what I would do with 7,000 employees. So why 12? Why is that the number that you're working with? Is there specific roles that they've just got it locked in?
There's rules that I use. So just back up for 1 second. What I will say in the scaling piece of it, what it also allows me, being a consulting firm, I can then just have 1099s that I bring in because we obviously need trainers. We need that. So I don't need to keep because that's what a lot of times cripples small businesses. You have so much overhead. So this way it also helps you to determine when it is that you actually need a live person. So it helps you to gauge when it makes sense instead of before this. And I have done this in previous businesses. You hire on people, then you recognize that, or maybe I didn't need to do that, or it's not working out exactly, or I hired someone with a particular skill set. That's not necessarily the skill set that I need. By utilizing these different helpers or employees, it's helping you to really hone into exactly what it is that you need. So it makes your scaling more efficient from that perspective. The other thing I wanted to say on it, like many entrepreneurs, I know you're one as well, you have more than one business. You can utilize up to 5 businesses on this and use them separately, have a brain for each one, which makes it nice as well. Going back to how I use the 12 helpers, I don't use all of them. There's a recruiter on there that I don't. However, a friend of mine is looking for a job. So I use the recruiter for my friend. And that way, that recruiter was able to, whenever he's looking for something, a job, I put in his generic resume with the job description, and it will tailor that resume to exactly that job, do a cover letter. So that's one thing. I use the copywriter all the time. It has. So I started using this over the holidays, and it's taken a bit for the brain to get my cadence, to get my voice and what I want. The more, just like any other AI platform, the prompt is it. And the nice thing about this is, and I think you can do it with any AI, I did it with ChatGPT, is I ask, here's my outcome. What do you need from me to get to this outcome? It really helps me. It's a time saver so that I'm not constantly going back. And then we have a sheet of, here are prompts that you need for all the things, so that anyone from the team can go in, okay, I'm looking for this. Here's the prompt I need for that. So it's a game change. It really saves time. The one thing we do not use it. We'll use the social media helper to create a post. Again, I'm a writer. I have writers on my operations person. She's a fabulous writer. So we start with, here are ideas. We typically do not, okay, just create my post for this month. It always comes from us, what we're teaching, what we've learned from clients, the challenge. We're not completely using it, and it's not just running our company for us. That doesn't work for us. And we don't have it post. So that is something that my marketing person, she does her magic and posts because it's not great at that yet. I don't find anyway. So that's another thing. But the data, I can't say it, data analyst, he's been really great. Another thing I will say that is a con of this, you have to tell it not to just make up random stats that it believes will help you in your cause to get people to purchase what you, so you have to say, only give me the source. And then say, oh, you want a real stat. So that it'll go back as far and it will give you some amazing stats. But don't just take what it says and assume that it went out and found something real. It could have just made it up. So that's one of the things that it can be a bit difficult.
Yeah.
So
I've seen the AI tools getting better and better at citing sources, like through you go directly through a platform like Perplexity or even ChatGPT's research now.
yeah,
Is just a lot more on top of it than it even was 3 or 6 months ago. And just knowing that's the trend, I think it's in whatever platform that anyone here chooses to use is you want to be working with companies that are also staying up to date with the latest updates and they're improving on their own tools as you're using them. Because I imagine, like I know that Cintra has a lot of users and they're investing back into their product. And the more feedback that I'm sure you're providing and other users, then they're going to continue to build on top of those features. I'm curious if you're in a position to share maybe like a project or how you would, like, what does it even look like inside of Cintra? If there's not an account that you can share on your screen, I totally get that too.
yeah, no, I absolutely
But
can. Let me.
yeah, visually, I think it's helpful to see if there's anything that we need to cut out here. I can trim it if anything pops up.
Okay. So thank you for, because this gives me some good ideas on, so each day, especially when you're starting out, you really want to go in and you want to work in these two tabs right here. So the questions, that helps the brain to learn the information that it needs to know to really tailor what it's doing to you. So you want to go in and it will ask, just answer guided questions. It'll just start asking questions and you can go from there.
Mhm.
Then it will, each day, however you want, it will offer you ideas because you're also putting in there, here's our outcomes, here's our vision, here's what our goals are for the year, here's how we plan to get there. So it will give you ideas. And if you like it, so Penn will create a communication crisis calculator, a quiz. Well, that sounds pretty good to me. So each of the helpers will give you, from their particular area of expertise, ideas on what it can do for you. And you can say yes, or if you don't like it, you can say no. And it will, however you want to do that. So that's really nice too. I don't really use the your daily summaries here. I use my calendar for that, but maybe I don't know what it is and I could use it better. I'm not sure. But here are all of the different employees that you can use. I don't use Casey much, but someone could.
So
Penn,
are you able to customize anything on the employee inside of your account, like their role or
no.
anything?
So let
Okay.
me just go into, let's go into the email marketer. So you can see here what they call power ups. So they
Mhm.
can do different things for you and it will tell you what they can do, an email account, all of these different things. So each of the employees has a power up. I haven't used these a lot, but probably something now that we just looked at it that kind of looks cool. So I may use it more. But there's no way to customize this. To my knowledge. Now, again, I am not an AI expert, nor am I a techie. So this is just from my personal use. So some of your listeners may be able to, and if any listeners out there have different ways that I can use this, feel free to let me know about that.
This to just make a point I think that is helpful I've seen from the years with the different types of tools. You tend to see these tools that are just blank canvases that you
Mhm.
can build anything in, and that's overwhelming to a lot of
Yes.
people because it's I don't know what to do in this blank workflow and plug all these things up, and then in between there and here you can only do one or two things. That's it. This is a super specific use case. There's certain guardrails that I find are really effective for just getting you what's actually going to be useful right now. And knowing what you don't need is almost just as important as, like you outlined earlier, what's the result that you're going for. You can even ask AI to help you with, like, what do I need to give you to get
Yes.
to that result. But I love the way that it visualizes it and puts some characters behind
I
each
can
tool
see
interface.
it feels like AI for dummies, which is
Hmm.
perfect for me. I'm a novice at this. So someone that's really into it may not be right for them. You're absolutely right. It is not right for a big business enterprise. I would say 10 employees or less is probably more of its sweet spot. The way that it has to work right now, and they've told me that it's going to change, you only have one login. So everyone's working from the same space in your company, which
Okay.
is fine. And some people may not like that.
Hmm.
They're going to start having different users, but they haven't rolled that out yet. I find it helpful. Our team works really great together because they can see the different things that I've created.
Hmm.
I can see what they're doing. It makes it a bit more transparent, but that might not be for everyone.
Totally. Yeah, it's important to highlight any of these platforms, especially that we're sharing throughout the summit series. Like, there's so many different AI tools out there. The people that tend to find success with the tools, like figure out what job needs to get done and then use the right tool for the job to actually get it done. Right? There's more than enough shiny objects for us to get our entrepreneurial brains distracted on and play around with these tools. And I encourage people to go and experiment with different tools and check them out. But also, yeah, like you said, keeping into consideration your actual team's, like like the infrastructure of a tool. How is your team able to edit and log in and share information? And not every platform is going to be built for enterprise level capability, but a lot of smaller businesses just don't need a lot of those specific, maybe some of the specific features that might be enterprise only type of AI. And a lot is changing in this space. And for me, it seems like Cintra is a really good kind of platform to get started with your marketing as a small business that has a lot of the pre-built templates and workflows that can get those outputs that you're needing without needing to go and be a super prompt engineer or anything like that. But it also looked like it had some opportunities to probably build out and take it to the next level if you really dug in deep for it. But
Mhm.
again, depending on who you are and where you're at, I would encourage anybody to just test these tools out, try it out, see how it works for you, and probably dive into some of the resources on channels like Cintra if they have demonstrations about their platform. It seems like they would have a good library of resources to support their own users. Are there any specific use cases with your clients that you found Cintra just makes a lot of sense right out the gate? Like, you're a marketing consultant, so is there anything that you see you doing just on a more regular basis that it's been most
Yeah, I
useful
mean,
for?
even for someone starting out, the e-commerce, they have an SEO specialist as you're writing your content. One of when we do blogs, we put it through the SEO specialist. So I think we're content creators. That's part of what
Mm.
we do, right? We create programs for ourselves, for other companies. We have to create events for people and give trainings and all of that. So anyone that's really into the content creation, I think this is a huge help. And in any of it, whether it's emails, so they have the email marketer or anything like that, I think that would be, or even on the analytics side, the data analyst can support on that. And a lot of small businesses, either they don't analyze the data because they don't think it's important. It's more important for a small business to do it almost. You have to know what's working if you want to grow. So I think that makes it easier for a small business too, is you have a data, what small business can afford a data analyst? You just can't.
Mm.
It's not gonna, so this makes it so that you can really look at how you're performing against maybe someone else in your industry or what you could do better. And he is one of the ones that will give you ideas on things you can do better, what you should track, because that's what I find we work a lot with small and mid-sized businesses. They don't, even if they had someone, they wouldn't know what to track.
Mm.
How should I be doing? So that helps you to learn things, excuse me, especially for a small first time entrepreneur. A lot of first time entrepreneurs, they don't even know who they need to get their business growing. Like, what are the roles that I would have? Well, you got them right there. It helps you also at so many companies. I don't have a business plan. They're not doing the fundamentals because they just don't know. This will help you in that. So for that novice, even forget about AI or tech novice, but even as a novice as a business owner, it will support you in creating the things that you need to create to get your business off the ground. Or even if you're looking for funding, it can help you to create the documents that you need to pitch yourself, to get funding, or even just to sell a product, to put together a sales plan. I used to be the chief sales officer for National Association of Sales Professionals. Well, do you know how long it took to put together sales plans for people, for the annual sales plan or the marketing budget to figure it does it like that. So just things that I recognize that used to take me forever, or that when I was first starting out, when I did my first business at 34 years old, that I had no clue all the mistakes I made and all the things because I just didn't know any better. And I didn't have the money to pay for a business coach or a business analyst or pay to have someone to tell me. This can do that too.
Yeah, super valuable, and being able to get that information on demand, and such a great use case for those getting started, and then where AI can help in just guiding you to getting those resources and extracting what you need to get the
Yeah,
job
then
done.
you can save your money for where it counts, where it's really going to hit and it's going to make the most impact. Let AI do the things that it does, that it's honestly better at than having a human with emotions and having their own agendas and their own things that they like. There's none of that. Especially when you're building out reports, I believe AI does it better.
I think in a lot of the analytic and processing of content,
Yeah,
absolutely, and yeah, it's going to have different levels of different types of bias than maybe the traditional like person might have.
right.
I suppose some of it might be influenced by the model, like you say, like you see like different AI platforms like Anthropic versus Claude versus ChatGPT. You give them the same prompt, they might have a different sort of output. And tying this back into what you said earlier about the numbers that it might give you, like not every like maybe trust but verify when you're getting stuff. Take it with a grain of salt because you're still getting information from like an experimental, like artificial intelligent system.
Yeah,
um,
always ask for the source. So anytime it
yeah,
gives me any type of stat, if it hasn't given me the source, if I forgot to ask it to only look for real, then I'll always ask for the source. And it will give you, just like ChatGPT did. It gives you all of that, where they found it, the whole, so
that's
you
great.
can run with it.
And is there any final words of maybe where business owners, once they're able to free themselves up, of focusing to make a greater impact? So once you get the AI, take some of the stuff off your plate. From your experience, where do you recommend people turn more of that free time and energy into having a greater impact in their business, especially for those just starting out?
I feel it's the personal connection because, especially since COVID, people want connection. They spent 2 years in their house, in their basement, or wherever. So, building relationships, I feel, especially for small businesses and entrepreneurs, you're so thick into the business side of it that you forget to lift your head up, get out there and network, get out there and make connections. Really use that attraction for what you want to do and that it's going to bring in the exact people that you need. When you're able to then sell or deliver or all that personal touch piece of it, that you really want to have your own part in that, right? You want to have your own heart. You want to have your own beliefs and your values into that piece. I even say that with social media, when you're doing blogs, don't let AI just write it for you. Make sure it's something that you're passionate about. Make sure it's something that you know your people, like always thinking of how can I add more value? What can I do right now to add more value to my clients? If you always have that in the top of your mind, your business is inevitable that you will succeed. But so many times when you're just in the thick of it and all you're thinking about is how can I succeed? How can I increase revenue? How can I do? You can fail that way very quickly.
Well said. Great advice and insights from your experience in helping other entrepreneurs and business owners and how you've been making an impact over the years. Coming to the end of today's call, I'd love to hear if you could share more about where people can learn more about what you do, connect with you online, and any last words of wisdom for people to take away from that are just getting into AI maybe.
Absolutely. Well, you can, my website is brookemdukes.com. I am Brooke Dukes on every social media there is. I got lucky on that one. I've been doing it a while. So you can connect with me there. You can connect with me from the site. And my email is brooke@brookemdukes.com. And I would say words of wisdom is just to make sure that your authenticity is a part of it. You don't want to turn whatever business you have, turn it over to AI to run. In my opinion, that was never the reason for having AI. As I had said, you want AI to take the pieces that don't need personal touches and do that way it frees you up to give your authentic truth to the world, right? And it really makes sure as a business owner, you're still involved, like your heart, the reason why you went into business, the things that you know can help your clients is still in it. Don't give everything over to it.
Thank you so much, Brooke.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for tuning in here to this episode of the Scale with AI Summit. Like, subscribe, and keep Common AI on. We'll see you on the other side. Cheers, y'all.